Okay, we've cast on our 5 stitches and now we're ready to start knitting. Now before we start knitting, there's a couple of things that we have to tackle. The first thing is, how do I hold these needles? You'll want to hold the cast on stitches, the needle that has the cast on stitches, as in your non-dominant hand. So for me, I'm right-handed. That means I'm going to hold this needle in my left hand. If you were left-handed, you would hold it in your right. From this point forward, we'll simply refer to this hand as our non-dominant hand. Now, the other needle you're going to be holding in your dominant hand, and this needle is known as the working needle because it's the one that you're actively using to knit and to transfer the stitches from one needle to another. The other thing that we have to worry about is we have to worry about how do we hold this yarn. So I have this working yarn here, and the working yarn, if you don't hold it, will give you inconsistent stitches because sometimes it might be tight, sometimes it might be loose, and you're going to get large and small stitches on behalf of that. So what we have to think about is we have to think about how we can have a consistent tension on this yarn. And to do that, we do something called holding tension. We typically do this with our dominant hand, the one that's holding the needle. And when you start out, that can be a little bit tricky, but give it time, and in no time at all, you're going to be really good at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to hold tension. Now, there are many more ways than what I'm going to show you, and you may find a way that you don't see anybody else ever doing, but it works for you. And as long as it works for you, and you get a consistent result in the fabric that you're knitting, then it's perfect. Okay, so let's look at a couple of ways we can hold tension. So again, we have this needle that has our cast on stitches over in our non-dominant hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this working yarn, and I'm going to come pretty close to the needle with my cast on stitches. A lot of ways that we can hold tension ends up with our working yarn being threaded through our fingers of our dominant hand. And there's a couple ways you can do this. You can simply thread it through like this. And if you feel like that's too loose for you, where you have your yarn over your pinky, under your ring finger, over your middle finger, and under your index finger, you can do an additional loop on your pinky. So hold the yarn over your pinky, and you would want to loop it around, but not too tightly because it does need to move around that finger, and you can always test it to see if it slides easily. And then under your ring finger, over your middle finger, and under your index finger. So that's an easy way that you can hold tension.